Have you ever been blamed for something or been accused of something and wished, man, I wish somebody had my back. I wish somebody was on my side. We all have. It stinks feeling like you're fighting your case alone. In D&C 45, we're introduced to one of my favorite titles for Jesus Christ. I'm Art, and this is So What? Jesus is known by so many names: Savior, Redeemer, Master, Teacher, Light, Wonderful, and the list goes on and on and on. In D&C 45 verse 3, we're introduced to another title. It says, listen to him, talking about Jesus Christ, who is the advocate. I would highlight that word, advocate, who is the advocate with the Father, who is pleading your case before him. An advocate is one who pleads the cause of another in court. It isn't a title that we hear very often nowadays, but an advocate is what we would call today a lawyer. Now, lawyer doesn't seem to have the same ring as maybe Wonderful or Master or Redeemer, but let me share why it's one of my favorite titles for Christ. Going back to verse 3, it says, who is pleading your cause before him. Underline that phrase, pleading your cause before him. You see, to understand Christ as your advocate or your lawyer, you gotta know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I'm not a lawyer at all, but according to AmericanBar.org, one of the tips for being a great lawyer is to master the allegations, the evidence, and the law, then decide what your story will be. In other words, you gotta know your case, you gotta know the evidence, and you gotta know your client inside and out. You gotta know them perfectly. That's how a good lawyer prepares. In the same way, Christ knows you perfectly, inside and out. He knows your case, he knows your life, he knows the allegations against you, and exactly how to help you stay free. So what? Christ is a good lawyer. Why should I care? What does this have to do with me? Well, it's important to know that now you've got somebody on your side, somebody that's willing to fight for you. He knows you completely. He knows you in and out. He knows your life inside and out, and he knows all the evidence against you. And yet he's still willing to fight for you. He is your coach, your cheerleader, your mentor. Now, as I read verse 5, see if you can identify what the Lord requires from us. It says, wherefore, Father, spare these my brethren that believe on my name, that they may come unto me and have everlasting life. He just needs you to believe in his name. Just believe him and believe in him. Elder Jeffrey R. Holland illustrates perfectly the attributes that make Christ our best advocate.
This sounds awkward to say, but God loved me in a sense almost as much as he loved his only begotten son. At least I can say this, he gave his only begotten son for me. And that says something about my worth in his eyes and my worth in the eyes of the Savior and his willingness to go to Gethsemane and Calvary for me. I'll never have to do that. I don't have to bleed. And I don't have to die for somebody else's sin, and I don't have to be that lonely. But I understand it, and I love it, and I appreciate it. And what it means to me is that he understands me, that he loves me, and that he reaches me. So I can't explain how that happens. I just know that it does.
I promise he understands you and is fighting for you and is pleading your case, so you don't have to do it. Tiny Heart. Check you next time.